It is sad that my Democrat colleagues pretend to care about women's rights while allowing Hunter Biden to exploit women. This is a shame. But let's talk about...
Chairman, there's a parliamentary challenge before us.
The point of order.
Chairman, point of order.
Who's the point? And we'll stop the clock for you, Ms. Green.
Mr. Chairman, our colleague from Georgia has introduced before pornographic exhibits and displayed things that are really not suitable for children who might be watching. And
bathing suit's not suitable, Mr. Raskin?
Well, I'm saying I would like the member to be instructed to not introduce any pornography today, at least without running it
A bathing suit is not pornography,
Well,
Mr.
we can't
Raskin.
see it from down there, so you didn't make it available to the minority before you started.
I've seen it before. It's on the internet. It's everywhere.
You are submitting a naked woman's body.
This is a bathing suit. This is a bathing suit.
And it has not been clear before this committee.
Glasses on. Do you wear them or not?
I have contacts in. Thank you.
Congratulations.
All right, guys, so we got to talk about the impeachment inquiry into Joe Biden. Those hearings happened yesterday in Congress. And, of course, the GOP, as they are presenting evidence, the Democrats are boohoo, whining, and crying, talking about, there's no evidence. You don't have any evidence against our daddy, Joe Biden. Right? That's essentially a summary of the impeachment inquiry hearing, okay? It is the GOP presenting evidence, right? Whether it be text messages, witness statements, whistleblower statements, other types of documents that we have in regards to emails, meetings that Joe Biden has had with Hunter Biden's business partners, pictures. We have all kinds of evidence, right? But again, according to the Democrats, circumstantial evidence is not evidence, right? So again, we're playing this game here, okay, of the GOP showing the evidence and Democrats denying the reality of the evidence, right? And that's essentially what happened. Now, the star of the impeachment inquiry hearing, in my opinion, was Republican Representative Byron Donalds, who basically laid out some of the text message exchanges that, in my opinion, are evidence that Joe Biden benefited from Hunter Biden's business dealings, because Hunter Biden said it himself. He said he gave half his money to his daddy.
And Mr. Dubinsky, I want to come to you quickly. A lot of talk about evidence. On the screens in the room, we have an organizational chart from the IRS investigative team that was looking into the business practices of Hunter Biden and his associates. This org chart is from 2014. Now, Mr. Dubinsky, when my former life, I was in community banking, and I'm comfortable with looking at organizational charts. When I first saw this chart, the first thing I thought about was a real estate holding company or a developer, and this is not to demean developers in the great east state of America, but developers typically have multiple companies that float with various business interests and business lines. But the funny thing is that in the business dealings of Hunter Biden, there is no real estate, none at all. So, Mr. Dubinsky, in your professional experience, looking at this organizational chart of business structure, what do you see here?
I see a very complicated structure of entities that are interrelated and would give me concern. If I were an investigator, I would want to know what's going on in these entities, who's behind them, how's the money moving between them, and what is the substance of the transactions? What's really going on here?
Mr. Dubinsky, do you think it's in the interest of this committee that is now in an inquiry phase to actually find out all of the flow of money between these entities and what the purpose was?
Absolutely.
Next slide, please. Now, this is to a text message. This is a text message between, it's going to Naomi Biden. That's what this one is. Hold on, wait, let me get my stuff back. Here we go. Sorry. This is the WhatsApp text message between Jim Biden and Hunter Biden. In this text message, it clearly says, anyway, we can talk later, but you've been drawn into something purely for the purpose of protecting Dad. This is between Hunter Biden and Jim Biden. Last time I checked, the father of Jim Biden and Joe Biden is now passed away. So I'm assuming this is Hunter Biden saying to Jim Biden, the president's brother, that you've been brought in this for the sole purpose of protecting Dad. Miss O'Connor, do you think that this text message would lead this committee to get further information about the business dealings of Hunter Biden and how that actually links to Jim Biden, the president's brother, and why they are so concerned with protecting Dad, a.k.a. Joe Biden, a.k.a. the President of the United States?
Yes.
Thank you. Next slide, please. This is a text message between Hunter Biden and Naomi Biden. And this one is a famous one. Everybody knows this one. This is the famous one that says, I hope you all do what I did and pay for everything for this entire family for 30 years. It's really hard. But don't worry, unlike Pop, I won't make you give me half your salary. Mr. Dubinsky, if you saw a text message like this in a potential money laundering operation or a potential pay-for-play operation, would you be looking for information related to money going from son to father?
Absolutely, without a doubt.
Thank you. Next slide. Oh, this is a fun one. Ladies and gentlemen, this one is from 2018. This is about 4 months before Joe Biden launched his campaign for president of the United States, December 2018. The highlight is, this is a text message between Jim Biden and Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden was in a bad way, by the way. He was really strung out. He lost a bunch of money. He needed help. Jim Biden says, this can work. You need a safe harbor. I can work with your father alone. It'll probably take several months and everybody can read the text. Ms. O'Connor, Mr. Dubinsky, if you saw a text message like this between the president's brother and the president's son, wouldn't you be concerned about them trying to give plausible deniability for the president of the United States to not have any knowledge of said business dealings?
It's worth. Gentleman's time's expired, but please answer the question.
It's worth investigating.
Mr. Dubinsky?
I would agree. I would investigate this.
I yield back.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? Byron Donalds clearly lays out text messages showing that Hunter Biden basically gave money to Joe Biden, okay? He admitted that he did that. Hunter Biden also went out his way to try to protect his father, okay? Because, again, you know, presumably his father was involved and his father needs protection because they know that what they were doing was illegal, selling Joe Biden's influence overseas in exchange for foreign policy decisions. Again, this is not something that is allowed. You cannot do that. Look what happened to Senator Bob Menendez, okay? We know for a fact, again, that this stuff is illegal, okay? And essentially, Hunter Biden is admitting to these things in these text messages, right? However, people like AOC, instead of just taking an L and admitting that her daddy Joe was involved, she basically tries to accuse Byron Donalds of fabricating the text messages just because they used a mock-up of what is verified messages. AOC tries to play the audience like they're dumb to try to insinuate that the whole text message was fabricated and says that was not a direct screenshot, while also herself not providing the quote-unquote direct screenshot of the text message that she claims was fabricated. Take a look.
Direct testimony of the 4 individual witnesses here today are the bona fide words that this committee must use in order to proceed or substantiate an investigation. And I want to emphasize why that's important. Earlier today, one of our colleagues, a gentleman from Florida, presented up on this screen something that appeared to be a screenshot of a text message containing or insinuating an explosive allegation. That screenshot of what appeared to be a text message was a fabricated image. It was a fabricated image. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was the staff of the committee, but it was not the actual direct screenshot from that phone. And in fact, I would like to submit to the committee the actual full context from the Ziegler Affidavit number 1, Exhibit 402, of the full text of that exchange. Do I have permission from the chair? Importantly, what was brought out from that fabricated image excluded critical context that changed the underlying meaning and allegation that was presented up on that screen by this committee and by members of this committee. Now, they are well within their right to do that because they are covered by the speech and debate clause. This was not submitted by a material or fact witness under oath. That was not submitted by a material or fact witness under oath.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? AOC and the mainstream liberal media are trying to play the American people like we're stupid and accusing Byron Donalds of, quote unquote, fabricating a message or not providing the direct screenshot from the WhatsApp, while at the same time, AOC submits what is not a direct screenshot from the WhatsApp because they don't have the direct screenshot. But again, this is something that we know came from Hunter Biden's iCloud backup on his laptop. Now, the full context of that exchange is essentially that Hunter Biden is complaining about not having any money because he has to pay alimony, okay? And apparently, he can't pay alimony without his dad's help, right? Without Joe Biden's help. Now, what that help is, we really don't know, okay? Now, Democrats claim that the Biden's finances aren't mixed up, okay? But, you know, hey, this guy is saying that, hey, I need help to make some money, okay? And he's talking to his uncle, right, Joe Biden's brother, in which Joe Biden's brother says, quote, "This can work. You need a safe harbor. I can work with your father alone. We, as usual, just need several months of his help for this to work. Let's talk about it. It makes perfect sense to me." Now, again, it seems to me that, again, Joe Biden is involved in whatever type of work that his brother needs to do, okay, in order to help Hunter Biden pay his bills, right? That's what it sounds like to me, right? Now, again, what that is, we really don't know just from the scope of this text message. But to try to insinuate that Byron Donalds fabricated the message is just silly, because that is actually what the message said. And the broader context of the message doesn't relieve Joe Biden of guilt, right? It's not proof that they weren't talking about business. It's just so in the broader context, it seems like, okay, well, Hunter Biden needs the money because he's broke, right? And he's trying to figure out how to get the money, and he needs his dad's help to get the money. And, you know, as usual, right, it'll take just several months of having Joe Biden's help. Now, that to me is alluding to how they usually go about getting Joe Biden's help, which is by selling his influence overseas. Just saying, this was a venture that, you know, not just Hunter Biden was involved in, but also Joe Biden's brother, James, was involved in as well, okay? It was a Biden crime family. So that takes us to the next Democrat that threw a fit, who just happens to be a black woman by the name of Jasmine Crockett. She's a representative, a Democrat from Texas. In her denial of reality, she's going to claim that this whole investigation is not about, again, the mountains of evidence that we have against Joe Biden. No. It's about Joe Biden loving his son. And of course, she had to bring up Trump as well, too, in her meltdown hissy fit. Take a look.
I can't seem to find the crime. And honestly, no one has testified of what crime they believe the president of the United States has committed. But when we start talking about things that look like evidence, they want to act like they blind. They don't know what this is. These are our national secrets. Looks like in the shitter to me. This looks like more evidence of our national secrets, say on a stage at Mar-a-Lago. When we're talking about somebody that's committed high crimes, it's at least indictments. Let's say 32 counts related to unauthorized retention of national security secrets, 7 counts related to obstructing the investigation, 3 false statements, 1 count of conspiracy to defraud the United States, falsifying business records, conspiracy to defraud the United States, 2 counts related to efforts to obstruct the vote certification proceedings, 1 count of conspiracy to violate civil rights, 23 counts related to forgery or false document statements, 8 counts related to soliciting, and I could go on because he's got 91 counts pending right now. But I will tell you what the president has been guilty of. He has unfortunately been guilty of loving his child unconditionally, and that is the only evidence that they have brought forward. And honestly, I hope and pray that my parents love me half as much as he loves his child. Until they find some evidence, we need to get back to the people's work, which means keeping this government open so that people don't go hungry in the streets of the United States. And I will yield.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that, okay? Now, honest to God truth, I really hope that your parents don't love you as much as Joe Biden allegedly loves Ashley Biden, right? I really hope that's not the case, okay? I hope that the love that you have between you and your parents is not at that level, okay? That Joe has with at least some of his kids, right? And Ashley Biden more particularly, I'm just saying. I mean, we might need to investigate, right? We might need to do some investigation. But outside of that, again, isn't it crazy, guys, how this woman goes out of her way to cope and to defend Joe Biden? Let's not forget she brought up Trump, right? She made her whole 5-minute thing about Trump. Now, I couldn't show all 5 minutes. It would have made the video too long. But again, this ain't got nothing to do with Trump, right? This has absolutely nothing to do with Trump. But because these people can't keep Trump's jock, right, off of their mind, this is what you see, right? She's going in on Trump, right, when Trump has nothing to do with this whatsoever. Okay, this is cope, right? I mean, she's defending Joe Biden like Joe Biden is her Lord and Savior. Okay, these are the same woke black women of America that will turn around and talk about just how bad the white man is, white supremacy this, white supremacy that. But yet she is breaking her neck in Congress trying to defend old Joe, right? Trying to defend Jim Crow Joe, okay? Pretending that there's no evidence when she just sat in a committee hearing and just listened to the evidence, okay? All these circumstantial evidence that has been brought against Joe Biden, but still denies reality that there is evidence out there. And again, goes to claim that, oh, well, this is just about Joe Biden loving his son, right? That's what it's about. Again, it's shameful. These Democrats really should be ashamed of themselves, okay? And for all the Democrats that are mad and upset about what's happening, they should blame themselves because they made Republicans sit through 2 politically motivated witch hunts of impeachment inquiries against Trump, right? So again, these people who want to be so mad about not being able to do the work for the people, again, these same people had no issues when the Democrats were wasting time in Congress with Trump's impeachment inquiries, right? That and also with the January 6th investigation, okay? That was a whole sham as well, too, that wasted the American people's time, but they had no issues with it whatsoever. Again, it's just amazing how that works, right? And the mainstream liberal media, of course, they're covering this and trying to basically say that there's no evidence. Okay, as the GOP is submitting more evidence, okay? I mean, there was just some more evidence that came out showing that the beneficiary wire address was Joe Biden's house in Delaware that again, Hunter Biden had $200 and some thousand wired to. Again, it's absolutely insane, all the evidence that's out here in front of our faces, but Democrats want to turn a blind eye and pretend that, oh, well, there's no evidence, right? But again, we'll see how long they'll be able to scream and cry no evidence, because at the conclusion of this hearing, James Comer basically said, look, we're going to go ahead and subpoena the bank records of Joe Biden and his brother and anybody else involved.
The witnesses today have all identified the evidence the committee has uncovered as deserving further inquiry. And that is what this committee will do, no matter where that evidence leads. I want to thank the witnesses for their testimony today. It confirms the evidence compiled by this committee justifies the investigation of Joe Biden's role in his family's international business schemes and justifies the next step of this investigation. One of those steps is gaining insight into where the Biden's foreign money ended up, for what purposes. Therefore, today, I will subpoena the bank records of Hunter Biden, James Biden, and their affiliated companies.
What's next, Congresswoman?
Well, we're going to subpoena Hunter and Joe Biden, and I hope the American people are not getting their news and information from the actress who is named AOC and the left today, who just denied, and lied throughout the entire hearing because they were unwilling to face the facts of evidence in text messages, in emails, in meetings and phone calls of Joe Biden doing business with his son Hunter and his brother James. It's everywhere.
Some Republicans don't like the witnesses you guys led with today. Do you feel that same way?
Well, this was just a first hearing to show the baseline of what was legal and illegal behavior. And our witnesses are experienced in investigation, in tax law, and constitutional law, and can explain to the American people what is normal operating LLC and corporate behavior and what is illegal behavior. And they did a good job of showcasing that today. But of course, the drama on the left, the lies of the left, try to take over and take hold of the hearing.
What other type of witnesses are you guys presenting going forward?
Well, we will have witnesses. We will have other Biden crime family business partners in oversight. But also, I hope that we're going to subpoena, and the chairman said today, we're going to subpoena Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. We've got to get those bank records. I want the bookkeeper, Jesse, because somebody was keeping track of all of this money, millions and millions of dollars, and where it was going and whose bank account. I want the bookkeeper more than I want anybody else in this thing.
Well, the first Biden accountant died. And now it looks like Sherwin, or whatever his little name is, are you going to bring him in?
Well, I would love to see him come in. I want all of the whistleblowers, all of the witnesses, and all of the bookkeepers. I mean, if you remember, Jesse, in the 1023 document by the FBI, the Ukrainians, the Burisma executives bragged about how complicated it was. It would take the U.S. government 10 years to figure out how the money laundering happened. So we need every single bookkeeper that buys.
Yeah, I agree, right? The impeachment inquiry investigation should continue. We should continue to gather evidence. And if Democrats want to boo-hoo, whine, and cry about it, screw them, right? Screw them, because they signed up for this. This is what they wanted, right? They wanted war, and then they got war, right? You wanted it, now you got it. You started under Trump with the Russia, the BS impeachment. Okay, you are currently indicting the president with fake trumped up political charges. Yeah, this is what you wanted. This is what you got, right? So again, we will see what comes out of this. Okay, I'm hoping that eventually they get the smoking gun, right? That smoking gun, which is the bank record showing that Biden actually received money as a result of Hunter Biden's business deals overseas. I'm sure it's out there. Okay, or I hope it's out there. And once we get that, the media and the Democrats will no longer be able to deny reality, even though they will. They'll just look stupid, right? They'll look like partisan hacks, because the American people will clearly see that our president has been bought and sold, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.